G'day people, I'm Sharyn and welcome. Let's do lettering. Here we are at the home screen and let's look at the lettering. This is my font key. It gives me the option of 3 different fonts in English, some Cyrillic fonts, and if I go over the page I've got 2-letter and 3-letter monogramming, borders and normal sew. I'm going to leave it in Gothic for the time being. This next one here, my lettering can be either horizontal or vertical. If you want to do a lot of lettering, put it into vertical and use a big hoop and you'll get a lot more letters in. This next one, I've got small, which is I think 11 millimeters high, which is about 1/2 inch. Large, which goes out to 1 1/4 inches, a little bit more than 1 1/4 inches, it's 32 millimeters. And medium, which is 24 millimeters, is about 1 inch. Play with the sizes, get to know what they're like. I am going to show you a way you can make them a bit bigger. Here I have uppercase or lowercase letters, and here I've got a place I can put things into file. I can save them into the machine. I'm going to start by putting my name in. Uppercase S and then lowercase for the rest of my name. I'm going to put a full stop or a period and then a space. These are my 2 spaces down here, a big one or a small one, and then uppercase again and B for my surname. I can keep going here. That will do. If I want to get rid of anything, I can work my way through, because I've decided I don't want that period there, and I can then delete it. So these keys can take me forward and backward into whatever lettering I've got. I can change things, make them lowercase or uppercase, whatever I've mucked up. You'll notice that one's greyed out at the moment, but when I'm over the space it's active, and when we go in here this actually gives me the option to make that space smaller. So that's my main keys. Down here at the bottom we're on page 1 of 5. Second page is numbers and punctuation. They're all mathematical symbols, and then I've got some things that have got accents on them. So hopefully you can find all the things that you need to have in your lettering. Assuming everything is how I want it to be, I say OK and go to my ready to sew screen. It's telling me which hoop I've got it in. I'm not actually going to stitch this out at the moment, but this is what we're going to do. It says that it's 24 millimeters high, which is around about 1 inch, and 171 millimeters across. It's in one colour, 600 stitches per minute. It's going to take 8 minutes. Tension is set to auto. I can use these. The 3 little squares at the bottom are like justification. They tell you where on your template things are going to start, and you can either have them at the leftmost side or the rightmost side or centred. I don't find it very easy to work out that way, but that's what they're for. This one here, at the moment it's ABC and they're all in the one colour, which means that the machine will just stitch this out in one colour. If I go there, it's going to stitch it out and it's going to stop at each letter so I can change the colours. This is the same as it was in the ready to sew screen on the regular design. So I can have it show me where the outside of the design is going to be. I can go to the corners of the design, I can do basting, I can do double basting. All of those things are still possible. This one is just telling me that there's a colour involved, and I can go here and use these keys to move around this hoop. There's my tension, which I will leave. This one I have the ability to change how short of a jump stitch it will cut. If I try to set it to low, Sometimes you find that the machine is just cutting too many things all the time. It doesn't make sense. Sometimes it can be worthwhile putting it up bigger. It's one of the ones for you to play with. So that's tension and cutting, and this one puts the hoop away. So that's what's going to happen if I go and stitch that design out. I don't normally do my lettering from the lettering screen. I usually do it from the edit screen. The only two things I lose by doing that are the ability to change the colour of the thread with every letter, and also that left, centre and right justification. I generally do my lettering in the edit screen, and that gives me some options that are not otherwise available. I'll go into the home screen and I'm going to go to the edit screen. When you have something that is put into the machine that's in the ready to sew screen, and you go to the home screen and the edit screen, whatever was in the ready to sew screen comes back here. So let's have a look what you can see about it. It's actually not got it centered in the machine. It's got it over to the left and it's stitching on the top of the center line. I'm going to delete this now, and I'm going to show you how I more regularly would play with lettering. So I'm going to delete that, and I'm actually going to put the really big hoop in here. So this is a much bigger hoop, which will give me the chance to show you more. I can put lettering in here by going home lettering, and I'm going to start with small. We're in Gothic. When I go OK, it goes into that hoop. Once again, it's lying on top of that centre line. I'm going to move it straight up. Next, I want to do more lettering. Home lettering. I'm going to change the font to script. I'll go to medium. Oops. You make a mistake, you can easily take it out. So I've got in what I want there. Okay. Back to the screen here and do Cheltenham, and I know if I write Cheltenham in large it's not going to work, it's not going to fit. Whoops. Once again, it's very easy to fix things up. Large, okay. And then I'm going to go back here. I'm going to change that to medium because I know that I can fit the whole word in. So you can see there all of my stitching that I want to do. I'm going to show you something different now about the hoops. This is only using up half the hoop, and I'd like to do it in a smaller hoop. If I go into hoops, the machine has greyed out all of the hoops that it won't fit in. So there's this one that it will fit in, the 200 by 360, and this one, the 200 by 280, but it won't fit in any of the others. So it's not letting me put them there. But I know that this is actually less than 20 by 20, so I should be able to fit it. Let's make that happen. If I come over here to the hearts and I join them all up, so I highlight all of them and then OK, I'm going to move this down to the middle now. And we can go back there. Now if I go back to those hoops, the square hoop is able to take it. The machine works out from the middle of that hoop, can everything fit in that hoop? Yes, it can. So I've now actually got 4 different hoops that I could stitch this out in. It's exactly the same thing, but having it not right at the top, I'm able to put it into a smaller hoop. So I'm going to go in there, and you can see now we can see it more easily because it's in a smaller hoop. If I want to change the size of this large here, I'm just going to take the Cheltenham, which is currently highlighted, down a bit so I've got more room, and highlight that one, bring it down a little bit. All of the other functions on the edit screen now work. So where the lettering screen only allowed me to have them in these sizes, I can actually make this one a bit bigger. So you can actually make that a bigger size than you could if you were only working in the monogramming screen. I would not recommend that you try and take the small one down any smaller. They are already about as small as they can be handled by the machine. When I select Small Gothic and come over here, this key, which was not actually able, it was greyed out when I was doing things in regular designs, is now not greyed out. I'll have a look at it. I can make things arc, so I'm going to do this. If I've done upward, I don't usually need this, but I'm going to X out of there, and you see because I did an X, I didn't say OK, it's forgotten that. I'm going to move it a little bit higher so that I can play with it a bit more. If I go down on the arc, watch what happens to the top of the lettering. It gets all sort of scrunched up, and that's what this is for. This opens it out, it widens it. So if you want to arc anything down, you may need to widen it. I don't usually find that you need to bring together the ones going in the other direction, but certainly you often need to spread out when you're doing a dip in the lettering. If I send this to the Ready to Sew screen now, OK, it knows it's in the 200 by 200 hoop, it knows how big it is, it's in one colour. 600 stitches per minute, 26 minutes to stitch out. If I want to stitch these out in separate colours, I need to go back into the edit screen, come down here and change the colours. This one I'm going to change to yellow, and it really doesn't matter what colours I do with this. So I've changed that one, I'll change this one, and I'll make it a different colour. Remembering the machine has no idea when I stitch out what colours I'm using. Now I've got 4 colours. When I say OK, it's given me 4 colours, and it will stop after each one. Now, if I want to stitch them all out in the same colour, I still can. It will stop, but I can stitch them out in different colours if I like, because it will stop and I can change the thread. Once again, huge thanks to Velma, because it's her machine that I'm working on. And I hope you've learned more about the lettering on your machine. and I'll see you next time.